We finally got the next update coming to Minecraft, which is 1.21.1 Release Candidate 1. That's a lot of ones. Hello there, Ray here, and make sure you're still subscribed and let's get into all the news. So this might be a bit confusing as we last seen the update of 1.21 full release. And then for the entire month of July, we did not see any new snapshots or any changes, at least to the Java game. It seems this was because in Sweden they have a holiday for pretty much the entire month of July. It looks like Mojang was taking advantage of this when it came to this year. For most years, they didn't really seem to take that many days off in the month of July. And because the Java team is in Sweden, they were pretty much not putting out any new changes in the game. But they were fixing bugs during this period, and we can see these bugs being fixed in the bug reports. So you'd think that all these bugs that they've been fixing for the last month would be in this new version here, but instead what we got is they decided to come in and fix some critical bugs in this version. Now typically after they come out with a full release like 1.21, they would come in and kind of do their big announcement showing all the cool features and stuff. And then shortly after that, they would come out with another version, kind of a minor version. That's what the .1 at the very end of this version means. And in that minor version, they would come in and fix any bugs that happen to slip through, as they normally want to put out the full releases on a scheduled day. They might not have time to reach other critical bugs. So now that they are going to be fixing these, they went straight from 1.21 to 1.21.1 release candidate. Typically, they would first go through some snapshots in 1.21 versions, then they come out with some pre-releases, and then only after they kind of got everything settled, they would come out with a release candidate. Now these release candidates mean that if there is no bugs found in this particular version, they will come out with the full release of 1.21.1. And they would encourage servers to update to this newest full release version when it's out. And because they want people to update to this next full release, they're not going to come out with too many other bug fixes, which may interfere with people like trying to update their mods and stuff. I know a lot of people are trying to update mods to like 1.21, and then if they would come out with a bunch of changes in this 1.21.1 version, then people might not update. I did put a poll out on my community tab here, asking how many of you guys are actually playing in the 1.21 version of Minecraft. The result is 71% of you guys are. That's almost 3/4. If you haven't already built these new types of 1.21 farms, including oozing potion slime farms, the new web farms, cool new cobblestone farms, faster witch farms, a way to farm up keys and maces, and even how to run your old raid farms. You can check out all those videos on my channel. Now that you understand what's all going on, what exactly did they fix in this version? Well, like I said, it's only critical issues that they're taking on. And if we look at the actual change logs, they mention the changes as fixing critical exploits, as well as adding in language support for these two languages. And they call this next version a hotfix. Now typically when I think of a hotfix, it's a fix they put into the game while the game is still running, which isn't something that Minecraft does. So maybe they use this term differently than what I think of it. And it mentions that the full release of 1.21.1 is expected to come later this week, or maybe like Friday. But I guess the main thing to notice is that they don't specify what exactly these bug fixes were. This is because they probably got set to private on the bug tracker. Now I did happen to see one bug which later got set to private. That was this bug here, and it says if you would give yourself this typically impossible type of crossbow to get, which is a quick charge 0 enchanted crossbow, and then if you would actually try to use this crossbow, it would crash your game. You can see it says the game crashed while sticking player, and then goes into the air out of bounds for a length of 3. Now when I first seen this bug report, I was a little bit surprised that they didn't have this bug report set to private, because more recently when there is bugs related to crashes that players can replicate that are in full release versions, they now set those bug reports to private. But I just happened to get a recording of this before it was set to private, and now if you look at the bug report with the exact same number, you'll see that you can only view this if you have permission. Now this bug did remind me of a similar bug that we noticed during testing, and this one's already fixed for a while, and I can actually still see this one because I'm the one that reported it, but you can see the bug report is set to private, viewable only to volunteers and up. And the bug report is actually something similar to crashing server with Bane of Arthropods level 0 bow. And you can see how the Mojang priority is set to very important. The category is a crash. And then it goes into detail about the actual bug and how they can fix it. but there are other critical bugs that are just not being fixed until a later snapshot. You can see this one's getting fixed in the feature update. The difference is this one will kick you from a game, where the other one will actually crash your game. So even though they might appear the same for a player playing on their single player world, on a multiplayer world it would only kick you and it wouldn't kick everyone else. So this one will be fixed in the next update, which will probably be a 1.21.2 snapshot. But it also depends on what type of crash is. Like here's a crash while saving entity NBT, but this crash isn't really applicable to most worlds, as this person was creating a trident that would warp you to a location, and this is just not something people would normally see in their Minecraft worlds. And this one, once again, is also getting fixed in a future update. So by looking at these examples, we're able to see how Mojang decides which bugs to show up on the change logs and which ones they just hide, and then just write a message saying that they fix a critical exploit. Now, something I didn't know until I reported one of these critical bugs back in the day is that on this actual little forum where you can create your own bugs, this is how you guys can report bugs that you find in Minecraft. You can type in like what the name's all about, but then you can come down here, and if it's a critical bug, you can actually set this to private. I thought this was something that only Mojang could do, but it turns out we actually do have that option. And then once you fill out, you can just hit the create button. So updated the world to 1.21.1, release candidate 1. And if the critical bug that they're talking about in this change logs here is actually this one related to the level 0 crossbow, that means we shouldn't get kicked from our game if we load this crossbow in this new version. Let's go ahead and test that out. I'll just pull this back and oh. Okay, it crashed the game. So it turns out they must have fixed some other critical exploits, and they didn't actually fix that one. My guess, it must have been a bug that was worse than something like this. Otherwise, they would have actually fixed this crossbow bug while they fixed this exploit, whatever it was. But if you have some idea of what they might have fixed in this version, let me know down in the comments. Now, one thing that we did not get in this update is bundles. That's because in the last Minecraft Monthly, they announced that bundles were going to come out.
That's right, bundles! Get ready to optimize your inventory with
bundles.
We first introduced this inventory space-saving item at Minecraft Live 2020, and now it'll be easier for you to add, view, or withdraw items from your bundle. Keep an eye out for bundles coming to Bedrock betas and previews on Minecraft.net.
Now, even though Bedrock Edition has been getting betas and updates for the month of July and even today, they haven't got the new bundle features. So that means we can probably expect them in still a upcoming snapshot, just not this one. But we can see how the bundles are used compared to the old way. Now when you hover over your bundles, this little pop-up comes up where it says bundles, and then within this pop-up is like another whole inventory. You can see he's moving his cursor around within it, and he's currently selecting beet seeds. You can see the words beet seeds right here. You can see the bundle is full, as it says it right here, by this little bar down here as well. And then when the player selects the beet seeds then leave and move into the player's cursor. You can see the player is actually moving the beet seeds now, which means you can go into your bundle and choose specifically which one of these items you want to pull out, rather than how it was before when you just clicked on the bundle, everything fell out. Now, bundles are still limited to only holding 64 total items. They just benefit in that you can have multiple different stacks in a single slot, which will give more room in your inventory to carry other things. But if they don't have any type of automation that comes along with them, then they're always going to be kind of stuck as an early game item. And people also complain that it's hard to get rabbit's hides to craft them in the first place. We'll have to wait to see what they all change about the bundles. So far it looks pretty promising, as they did address one of the main issues, which is trying to get out a specific item when you have them all inside of your bundle. But what do you think of the bundles? And since the MCC Cape deadline is finished, you can now also get the new 15-year anniversary cape that could be acquired from doing the MCC event by coming into your skins, clicking the 3 little arrows, click edit, then you can see all the different capes you can choose from. And then you can click this one if you did the event. I love how it has the digits of 115, so it's like really clear that it's from the 15-year anniversary. And then just click save and use down bottom right. And then when you play the game, now you have the new cape on in Java Edition, despite having to play Bedrock Edition to actually acquire the cape. I know a lot of people didn't bother to get this cape because they thought it was too much work, but I actually also got this cape on my alt account as well as my OG Bedrock account. It wasn't too difficult to get, and it was actually kind of fun once I used the tactics I showed in my previous video on how to kind of streamline the process. What do you think of the cape, and did you actually get it on your account? Now consider joining as a YouTube membership, as this helps me put more time into making these videos, or come check out my live stream over at Twitch where I'm working on this crazy player launcher using the new wind charge potions. Thank you all for leaving a like, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye!